Bighit Music did not hesitate for even a second before firing back. And if you followed this label closely when it comes to anything involving BTS, you already knew a soft, apologetic statement was never going to be on the table. Instead, they came out with full force, flatly labeling the entire lawsuit as merely a unilateral claim, a phrase that immediately signals they see zero legitimacy in what's being alleged and have no intention of entertaining the narrative being pushed by the plaintiffs. Their statement went further, doubling down explicitly on the fact that Swim is, in their own words, an independent creative work, which tells you they are not conceding an inch when it comes to the originality and authenticity of this track. A song that fans know was born out of an incredibly documented, transparent creative process. And then came the final line that really set the tone for everything ahead. They promised to respond strongly in future legal proceedings, which is corporate language for, we are not settling this quietly. We are lawyering up and we are prepared to fight this out in court for as long as it takes. This is the kind of statement that tells you Bighit isn't rattled or scrambling defensively. They're already positioned, already prepared, because when it comes to protecting BTS's discography and intellectual property, this is a company that has never once treated it as anything less than sacred ground worth defending aggressively. On fan reactions, the ARMY response to all of this has been swift, loud, and honestly dripping with skepticism toward the people behind this lawsuit, and it's genuinely not hard to understand why. Fans are quick to point out the glaring irony sitting at the center of this story. This is the exact same Bighit that has historically gone after leakers and unauthorized distributors with full, uncompromising legal force. The same company that took real action against people who attempted to leak ARIRANG content before its official release even happened. That's not the profile of a company that lets things slide or plays it safe when actual wrongdoing involving BTS's music is on the table. So the notion that they'd sit back and let a real plagiarism claim go unanswered feels almost absurd to a huge portion of the fandom, especially considering there's literally a documentary tracing the entire creative journey of this album from the very beginning. There's a growing, vocal sentiment across the fandom that this lawsuit reads far more like an opportunistic attempt to attach obscure, unknown names to one of the most recognizable brands in global music than it does an actual legitimate grievance, because, let's be honest, attaching yourself to BTS in any capacity, good press or bad press, guarantees instant headlines and trending topics, and some people are clearly willing to gamble their own credibility for that kind of visibility. On the Grammy angle, and through all of this noise and legal back and forth, one thing remains impossible to bury. ARIRANG is quietly, steadily building a genuinely undeniable case for Album of the Year contention at the Grammys. And that's not fandom hype talking, that's the real trajectory this album has been on since release. We're watching a genuinely rare convergence happen in real time. Critics across the board are showering this record with acclaim, the commercial numbers are shattering records at a pace that's hard to overstate, and that specific combination of critical respect paired with mainstream commercial dominance is exactly the formula that Grammy voters have historically responded to most strongly in that top category. It's genuinely rare for an album to check both of those boxes this convincingly within the same award cycle, and ARIRANG is doing it effortlessly, which says everything about how strong this era has truly been. So while a handful of unknown composers attempt to manufacture controversy with unverified claims, the real conversation happening at the highest levels of the industry is centered entirely on how undeniable this album's legacy is shaping up to be. And that contrast alone tells you exactly which story is going to matter, a year from now.